Hello everyone, it's been a while since we have reviewed anything, but this time we got a surprise visit from Antec. The case that we're talking about that is over here is the Antec P20C ARGB PC case, and we're going to take a good look at what this case is and see what it's all about. Taking a quick look, the dimensions of the case is 469mm by 220mm by 490mm. So the case is a mid-tower case with 3 ARGB fans in the front. The case doesn't come with a rear fan because if one is usually building a gaming PC, in this case they will either add an ARGB fan at the rear or not, depending upon the type of build that they want to do. The case has a nice two-tone black and grey color theme to it, with a yellow line near the Antec logo, sort of giving that little brand color recognition. The front mesh design looks nice as well. It's kind of pleasing to the eye. The front mesh panel is removable for easy cleaning, which in turn gives you access to the dust filter, which is also easily removable to clean. The front 3 ARGB fans are 120mm, which comes pre-installed with the case. As for the 4mm thickness side tempered glass panel, it is fastened by 2 thumb screws. However, you need to take care while removing the panel by sliding it towards the back and ensure that the panel doesn't fall down. So yes, this needs to be done with great responsibility. On the top side of the case comes with a magnetic dust filter, and as you can see, it can house up to 3 120mm fans or 2 140mm fans. For the radiator support, it can support up to 240mm, 280mm and 360mm up top. The I/O panel is located on the top side, which consists of the power button, the LED button, the HDD and power LED indicator, USB 3.0 into 2, one 3.5mm audio out and microphone jack, and a USB Type-C port. So that's a good thing. There is one advantage here, that in case if the front I/O ports or the buttons get damaged, the circuit can be easily replaced by removing its mounting screws and refitting a new one in its place. That's pretty much handy in my opinion, because I feel that if it gets bad, or if you accidentally insert a USB thumb drive and something just hits it and the ports get physically bad, so there is a chance that you can just replace the circuit and you don't have to replace the whole case. Now we take a look at the rear of the case. It's basically pretty standard layout with motherboard I/O shield cutout, 120mm only rear fan mesh mount, 7 numbers PCI expansion slot curves, and a PSU mounting frame, which means that you have to fix that frame on the PSU and then slide the PSU inside the case. Then use the 2 thumb screws to fit the frame to the case. The bottom of the case has an HDD or SSD mount tray that has 2 mounting positions. The front position is usually used if you are not using any front radiator mounting or just want more space for a larger length PSU. The other position is when you plan to mount a radiator in the front of the case. However, you won't be able to use larger length power supplies in that situation. The bottom side of the power supply has a slide in and slide out mesh filter with a plastic frame, which gives that filter rigidity, and it is more easier to remove it, clean the filters, and then just by sliding it out from the rear of the case. Now look at the right side of the case. After we remove the metal panel, we see the large motherboard tray cutout, the I/O cables, 2.5-inch SSD mounts, some velcro straps for cable management, and that HDD cage. Upon taking a closer look, we can see that there are 2.5-inch SSD mounts on the rear side of the motherboard tray. As for the power supply, we have about 205mm space with the HDD caddy installed, and up to 410mm if we remove the HDD caddy. There are times where we are having a build where it doesn't have hard drives, so all that space, larger power supplies, a lot of space for tucking in those cables. That's one advantage. Also, the case has inbuilt ARGB LED controller circuit, which has 3 fan ports, and its ARGB connectors are already pre-connected, and there is a provision to connect 3 more ARGB fans of the same type of connectors. So you got like 3 ARGB pins as well as 3 fan ports. So if you plan to use an air cooler for your build, then you can add 3 more similar ARGB fans on the top side of the case if you want. The LED controller is SATA powered, so you really don't need to have an ARGB port on your motherboard, which is usually the case in budget builds. Now let's take a look at the inside of the case. The motherboard tray has a large cutout, so you can fix your CPU cooler brackets after the motherboard is fitted on the tray, which has been a standard for quite some time, so that's normal. The case can accommodate a CPU air cooler with up to 170 mm in height, which is a pretty good size in case if you want to go for a sort of a workstation build in this and you want those dual tower, dual fan coolers. That also works pretty much fine in this height. And it can have a GPU length of maximum 375 mm. Again, that's a good thing as well, since GPUs nowadays are quite large, which are available in the market, especially the high performance ones. It is always refreshing to see cable entry points with silicone rubber grommets on the side and the bottom here. This definitely makes the cable entry area look nice and controlled, which is a good thing. The motherboard tray is fitted with a GPU anti-sag holder, which is adjustable in height, so you don't have to invest in a GPU holder, especially for those heavy GPUs. There is also a cable entry slot for GPU PCI power cable, which doesn't have a grommet. There is also a provision to add 2 120mm fans to assist more airflow towards the GPU. The case also supports E80X motherboards as well. That's an advantage. Why? Because you can fit in a workstation or a dual CPU board inside. It has additional 2 rubber grommets used for either motherboard cables or for front AIO liquid cooler fan cables passage. If you're building it and if you're a regular builder or you've built a lot of PCs and you come across this issue, you would really appreciate those 2 cable entry points. Another thing here is if you see the PCI expansion slot brackets, they are easily accessible with a screwdriver and it is very convenient. I mean, personally, I like the fact that this is the way how you access the PCI brackets, because if it is from outside of the case, sometimes maybe the screw falls off, or maybe your t-shirt gets stuck into that while building the PC. Many things can happen. So this is a good thing. So that's pretty much it about this case. This is the Antec P20C ARGB case, and it seems to be a good balanced case for its price and its segment. This is one of the good choice for cases if you plan to build a mid-range gaming PC or even a mid-range workstation PC. The price for this case hovers around 8,000 rupees approximately in the market, depends from where you buy. Thank you for watching this video. Do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you have any questions, you can let me know in the comments and I'll be happy to answer them. See you next time in the next video.